My partners, Liam, Dorian, and we focus on a crime thriller genre, in which the opening scene creates a question to the audience, by beginning with a developed story of Audrey covered in bruises, which intrigues the audience and encourages them to continue watching the film in order to find the answer. It creates a sinister effect with a low-key lighting and in a dark basement, in which it begins with a close-up shot of the man's shoes seen through the eyes of the main character, Audrey, indicating she is lying on the floor after she has been beaten up. Moreover, there is then a long shot to show the setting and introducing the two men and Audrey, where she is lifted from the floor by the two men and tied up to a chair. This all being seen from the girl's eyes at the beginning of the scene. It is also combined with another scene in which Audrey pins pictures of the dead family at the house in order to solve the crime. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? The scene is set in Colombia and represents the issue of corruption and unlawfulness of the government. We challenge conventions through the use of female gaze, where the female character is portrayed as a strong and brave person and who is willing to die for her family's secrets and later on investigate the case. Women are usually portrayed in the media as weak and easily controlled. However, in this movie, she is portrayed as the opposite, by Audrey answering back and resisting herself of telling them the truth, even though she may get hurt. Also, by the woman being the one who leads and directs the two men. This use of female gaze in the movie may attract a greater target audience, which is teenagers, mainly focusing on males since they're usually more into crime movies and easily to attract due to the media. Camera. Throughout the opening scene, there is a use of point-of-view shots in order to involucrate the audience into the scene and get them inside the character's mind. For instance, the scene of Audrey opening her eyes, or when she talks to one of the men, or when the woman stares at Audrey. Moreover, at the beginning of the scene, there is a use of a close-up shot focusing on the main character's face, Audrey, who has bruises all over her face, indicating she has been beaten up as a consequence of information she knows, which focuses on the genre of crime. Additionally, over-the-shoulder shot is used to clear the audience who the conversation is in between which characters, and as the scene develops, there is a low-angle shot of Audrey, which portrays her as a more vulnerable to the man talking to her in the position she's at. Editing. There's a use of eyeline mattes to show what the character sees, to position the audience inside the character. There is a various use of reverse shots to allow the audience see the reactions of the characters. Especially, there is a use of a cutaway combining two different scenes happening in different years. Mise-en-scène. In order to represent social groups, mise-en-scène is a key term. The characters' dressing and props were used to describe them and categorizing them. For instance, both men wore jeans, military brown boots, and a green or blue jacket portraying them as strong and prepared for their job. Audrey, at the basement, which is at the age of 16, wore gray bell trousers, a gray peak shirt with a white t-shirt underneath, setting her as a teenage girl in 2005, which is the year the scene is set in. However, 5 years later, at the age of 21, she wears black trousers, a black blazer, and a white blouse, describing her as a professional focused on the investigation. Additionally, the woman dresses with a long black coat covering her clothes. For the props, a chair and a rope are used to interrogate Audrey, and a gun is used by one of the men as the scene develops to give a sense of danger and fear. Sound. The non-diegetic music used in the scene is what creates tension and suspense, and gives a sense of seriousness to the dialogue, as the music is kept in the background. Furthermore, the diegetic sound used where the police siren, which alerts the characters to run away and leave Audrey behind, the deep breathing of Audrey portraying her as she is out of breath as a consequence of stress and aggression she has suffered in the past hours. How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? The opening scene engages with a target audience, people from age 14 to the 20s, through the use of camera, such as the point of view shot, which involucrates the audience into the scene, getting them inside the character's mind. Moreover, it was distributed on YouTube and posted on our blog. If I had to consider how to distribute the movie as a real media text, it would be by marketing through trailers and posters, as well as social media, since our target audience are teenagers. So for instance, through Instagram or Twitter and using the hashtags, hashtag counterplay, as well as the actors tagging in the Instagram account in order to create awareness and have a greater audience. Also, by releasing the movie in cinemas around Europe and USA. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? Throughout this project, I have personally developed my production skills due to the research I have done on dressing set on 2005, how to do the makeup, filming skills, and have specially focused on editing, in which I may now say I have developed my editing skills with both iMovie and InShot. Moreover, since I was the one filming, I had to revise the different angles and shots to create different effects, as well as considering the type of brightness used for the scene set at the office, in which we turned off the lights and only used a small lamp focusing on the main character and creating a sinister effect. I have also learned from this experience for next time to do everything with a lot of time and taking in consideration problems along the way, which might require to repeat filming various times on many days. How did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online in this project? For this project, I have filmed with a camera Canon EOS 100D and used a tripod in order for the camera not to shake, and to get better all the different angles. Furthermore, I repeated filming the same scene from different angles to see how well it looked from different perspectives and to have more options when editing. Additionally, we also filmed the scene at the basement with a phone, which made it easier to get the different shots as it is lighter than the camera. In addition, for editing, the hardwares used were both an iPad and a computer for iMovie, and for InShot, in which I used to change the fonts and lighting, I used my phone. What were the strengths and weaknesses of the project, and what improvement could be made? I believe the greatest strength of the project is the script, due to the range of conventions used and the research. For instance, we watched a range of crime videos that inspired us and helped us learn from them in order to develop our production skills. Moreover, before filming, we also did a mind map, audience profile, shooting schedule, call sheet, a list of props, costumes, and the treatment to be well prepared. However, as I have said before, I believe I could improve next time by taking into consideration the probability of having various problems when filming throughout the process, meaning filming would need to be repeated on different days.
How the aims of the film opening have been met. The aim of the opening film was to follow conventions of a crime thrilling genre and the themes which were focused on law and justice. This is met through the dialogue and actions, when the men interrogate Audrey and when she later on investigates to put justice on who kills her family and tries to stop the corruption of the government. Moreover, we made some changes along the way, such as the opening scene beginning with Audrey opening her eyes on the floor, rather than opening her eyes on the chair with a man's face in front of her. We did this in order to create a question to the audience of wondering who the shoes are from and what has happened.